Alafia. This is Yeye Fini. Efumbolade. Yalode Yeye Fini. Efumbolade. I am here and really feeling happy and centered that we are able to connect today for the reading of the year. Adupwe. Yeah. Okay, Alafia, everyone. This is the reading, the consultation for the year. And thank you so much for being a part of this and joining me today. I'm excited. This is the first time I'm doing it, that I'm not doing it on Blog Talk Radio. I've been doing these for over 30 years. Every year I do the reading of the year, and this is the first time that I'm not doing it on Blog Talk Radio. So I guess I may have to go on there because everything is held forever on there. So thank you again. I always like to open up with a little song, a little chant or something to give us a kind of connection to spirit. Oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala, oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala, oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala, oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala. Oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala, oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala. Oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala, oh batala, oh shala, oh rishala. Well, we are here. Thank you, all of you that's coming in. Lisa, Angelita, Oshunrire. Thank you so much for being a part of this New Year, New Decade celebration and upcoming. So, as I said, I perform this reading every year, this spiritual forecast. And whatever country I'm living in at the time, I do the same thing. So I perform it for that. Today, as I said, we're having it here on Facebook Live. Yeah, when I count up the years, it's been like over 35 years that I've been doing this. And so today we're going to do the reading for the world, the USA, the diaspora. And of course, I do a reading for my institute as well, but I don't have to share that with that boredom. I don't have to share that with you. So the reason that I do these readings every year is there's so many people doing readings of the year, and that's awesome. I am so happy that people are tapping into and coming into the consciousness that African spiritual practices does work. And so over the years, it's been a constant building of the practice and the belief and the understanding, because we are in a place where it's just part of our evolution. It's just part of who we are becoming as global citizens. And so today, our reading of the year is not only the reading of the year, it's the reading of the decade. So this is a new decade that's coming up. So this year and this entire decade will encourage you to use all of your spiritual tools, all of the spiritual tools that you would use, and the skills that you've learned over the years. I'm going to put this over here so we can see better. And skills and the knowledge of your connection to God, to Source, to Spirit, and the laws to bring about peace and individual to us individually and collectively. We are at a very crucial time in history. A quick look at the news as we see today, just how challenging these times are. Yet what most people don't realize is that all of this has been foretold before for ages. The truth is, the upheaval, the changes, the challenges, and the frequencies at play right now are very clearly written in the stars. The way that we are progressing in the world, the way that the stars, the moon, all of the planets, the orishas, the energies are moving. And it's just that time. And so we're living like on the cusp, right on the edge of a new age. As the old song goes, this is indeed the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And what that means is that a new consciousness is empowering the planet. And since 2020, this emergence has accelerated. So it's going faster and faster. In fact, never before in human history have thoughts and feelings manifested into physical reality so quickly. What this means for you is that you now have the opportunity to intentionally create your own life exactly the way you want it. As long as you are aligned with your own true spiritual frequency and you know and you use the energies and the tools that you know how to connect you to spirit, be it religion, be it stones, be it crystals, be it praying. Unfortunately, at this new consciousness emergence, there's also that shadow of the old continues to rise up in resistance, because when we come into something new, there's always that old pattern that the spirit or the energy remembers, and so that is called the shadow, and the shadow is coming in because it's rising up. I don't want to move. I don't want to change. I don't want to move. I don't want to change. And so the fear within humans, the greed or for the super rich, the drive for power amongst corrupt politicians, and the violence that's crisscrossing the globe are all evidence of the growing shadow. That's why there is not a much more better time for us people who are on this line and who know the power of spirit. As the darkness of human nature puts up a fight against the light, those of us here, we have to do the good work, and we are ready and we're prepared to face the many challenges that cannot be overcome by the old system. We cannot overcome it with the old ways of doing things. So the good news is that if you are reading or if you are part of this and if you're listening to this, my friend, it means you are one of the very special souls on this planet who are here to help. That's something I put up today on Facebook to kind of bring us back to what it is that the reading of the year said. It was amazing, powerful, and that the reading that I did on the world, the first thing that it said was, he who pays remains free. So we have the Odu of Oshedi. Those of you that read Merin de Logun know that's 5 and 7. Oshedi says, he who pays remains free. And then the Ire comes in a positive, and it says, Ofumbara brings the Ire, a king of royal person. Secrets are not to be told. And then we have the other line, the king does not lie. A king is born. He who is born for the head should not remain in the tail. And so all of the Odus are on my website, and you can go in there and just look at the reading of the year for 2020, and you can get all of the Odus. My purpose for having this is so that we can all use our collective energies to move to the next level. And as I said, there are many people doing readings of the year. I have done it, and I am just doing it to the people, my clients, my students, people who know me or who may not know me. And my connection and my intention and my commitment over the year is to empower the people to empower themselves and use the empowerment to change the world. And so that's why every year I put out this reading free for everyone to get it. And if it rings through to your spirit, or if you want to use mine with collaboration with others, whatever, it's fine. Copy and paste it, send it to everyone, tell everyone to join my website though. Become my friend, become my subscribe to my website, and you can get all of the information, because this year it's going to be, this decade is amazing. I am so excited. So the Odu is telling us that the ceremonies or rituals for this year is to take lots of spiritual baths for balance, peace, optimism, and positivity. And the reason for that is that water is the one thing that when we put it on, when we have it, we can pray to it, we can state what it is, and is easy accessible to change the vibration that we have. The vibration that we have is, so if it's anger or fear, resentment, we're able to shift it by taking spiritual baths. It says that everyone, if you can't get to the sea, if you can't get to the river, you're going to make spiritual baths. And there are enough spiritual baths that you could Google using herbs, the power of herbs for peace and tranquility. And you're going to mix those up and bathe. Then the next ritual or celebration ceremony is for regularly and consistently and elaborately ceremonies to Egbe Orun. Egbe Orun are our comrades in the celestial realm, meaning that according to what we believe in Ifa is that before we leave the heaven, we have agreements with our double in heaven, and we have partners that are going to be a part of our lives as our husbands, our wives, our children, our businesses, the success in life that we have. And so we must appease Egbe Orun, to appease the negative, malevolent Egbe spirits, because they are negative, malevolent spirits that are Egbe. If they are not appeased, they can turn negative, and that energy, we see it today. And so the malevolent spirits will cause havoc, have survived and they survived as lawless men to cause havoc in the life of people. They're elusive, whose powers and personalities fluctuate, but whose malevolency tends to constantly remind the people of their presence and their influence. They can plant sinister ideas in their victims' minds or cause them great confusion. The individuals who share this personality and come from this type of Egbe are amongst us. And we know they're amongst us because we see some of the things that's happening, the sequestering and the holding and the missing women, girls and men who are missing and sold into slavery. We have children who are still being held captive. We have ideas of building walls to keep people from one part of earth to another. And so they are on earth. They are here in earth. They are amongst us. They are serial killers, rapists, kidnappers, robbers, thugs, and so on. And so I took this excerpt from the book Egbe Orun, Comrades of Heaven. It's written by Ifa Yemisi Elebuibon. And you can order the book and you can have a little more insight as to the depth of Egbe. But you want to salute and salute your own Egbe, because when you salute and give your Egbe, there's another you that is here. And according to the way that I was taught is that this, you and this one up here made an agreement that when you come on earth, you would have children, you would marry, you are not marry or not have children, whatever it is that you decide that's what you want. And so you want to support that cast. Those are your cast of directors and the music arrangers and all of that in the play of your life. So you want to make sure that your Egbe Orun is being satisfied. And I have here some of the ways that you can, of course, through initiation into Egbe, but my reading of the year is always geared towards empowering the people, and it's not so much about marking rituals that you could specifically have to identify as if you're a practitioner of this faith, but for every person they're able to connect. So that you'll be able to connect to your Egbe Orun, there are simple ways that you will be able to do it. For those who are practitioners, of course, you want to receive your own Egbe initiation. But for that, you could put 2 candles, a glass of water. You call on your double in heaven or your Egbe Orun. And you can put offerings such as fruits, cooked food, sweets, banana, sugar cane. And you put that in your house and you designate a spot where you're going to call your Egbe. And we have the power to call up anything. You know, we have the power that we said, today's going to be a horrible day, and it ends up being like that. Or today's going to be a glorious situation, and it ends up. So we have the power to call in on our Egbe without having to be through an initiation. Initiation could give you a little more detail into what it is that what road of the Egbe and what is your divine double saying. But for now, this year, honoring Egbe, spiritual baths. Those are the 2 major things. I think there's some other things for the reading of the year. And what this year is saying, where we have the blessing and opportunity to look at the world expansively from the perspective of knowing that what we do will set us free. That's what the Odu says. The Odu is saying here that he who pays remains free. And look at what is in front of your eyes. That's the Kotojala. That's the thing that takes away from the reading. So look in front of your eyes. And so it's saying here that what is going on in the world, when we look at the world and we look at ourselves in the world, this is a time for us to connect as equals and not so much looking at them and us. And so this is a year where you want the blessing and the opportunity of looking at the world expansively and knowing that we will do well if we know who we are or what we're doing. Wars are not won by bigger and better guns or weapons, but rather by strategy and insightful planning. And so the planning, by changing past attitudes and behaviors, we can continue, will connect us to a better opportunity of global harmony. So as long as we connect to looking back at the things that did not work, because as we said, this is a new consciousness that's awakening from 2012 started, and we have seen it over that is people are becoming more aware and involved in meditation, in spiritual work, in qigong, in reiki, and all of the things that's going to give us a connection to spirit or connection to God. And so we must do rituals and ceremonies before we travel as well. This year says would be good to make some kind of an offering. So you set an intention for where you're going, and you says, I'm going to X, Y, and Z. I'm making this offering to the universe. It's just like paying your toll. When you're coming from one state to another or from one city to another, you got to pay your toll. So you're paying so that wherever it is that you go, you will have the benefit of getting the best that you came to get. And so it's very important for us this year to feed the road, or to take a ceremony rather, before we travel. It says also this is a year by changing past attitudes and behaviors will connect us to a better opportunity for global harmony. This is a time for us for global harmony. And before we're going to the reading, because this is a reading on the world, before I go into the reading on the United States, I'm going to do the prayer, and I have it on my website that you can take it, you can copy it, or I'm going to put it in here later. Maybe the link, and you're able to say this prayer. It's very, very powerful, and it's one to bring us individually connected to ourselves, our community, and the world. Because the Oshé is saying here that this is a time for us to love and to find, because the first Odu that came was Oshun, Oshé and Odi. And whenever you have Oshé and Odi, you're always speaking about harmonizing like water, beautiful, nice, peaceful, finding love, finding peace in your heart. And so the way that you're going to find love, you got to find it through self-love first, but also you have to love humanity and human beings. And so it's saying that we cannot think in terms of ourselves being disconnected. It says take care of our blood. So the most important thing this year is for global harmony. So there are going to be things in the world that's going to bring our attention to make us decide, are we going to believe that it's fear and this is what's the rest of the world, or we're going to come into a place where we can harmonize and look at us as one. That's what it's saying. That's the major thing that it's saying according to the priest and myself that did this consultation. Do rituals before you travel. If we create a space that we are all connected, we will see rewards if we do the work. What we do will manifest into what we see. If we pollute the water, we pollute our blood, we pollute our food. So this is a time for us to really take stock, because this year we may have some floods. And this is a time where water is a very important source on the world. There may be wars started over water. And so this is a time where we have to really put our energies globally and not just think that we can vote or write a policy, but we can affect change by shifting, by going into our inner selves and bringing out the God sense, that because all of us are divine beings. The world is changed by the consciousness of the people, not the wars, because we've seen that it doesn't work. And so for those in charge, we have to send that kind of energy to those who are policymakers and that. So as we go on further, I'm going to read further. We must recognize that we are all brothers and sisters, interacting and interconnected. We must protect, defend each other from injustice, from abuse, from neglect, from greed, if we are to survive and thrive. Do not categorize ourselves into groups. It's not us against them, because if each one of us is saying them, then we are part of them. Do not complain. Set up and do what needs to be done to keep this world balanced. Be the voice for the change that you want to see. Revelations, people talking about injustice that will give credibility to that. We're going to see a lot of that. Look at what is in front of your eyes and pay attention. Open your heart to others our neighbors, our world, as we all are the same. Be vigilant. Be vigilant what's going on. People are being snatched in the street. And sometimes if we looked at it and just say, oh, they must be just two lovers fighting, and come to find out, no, this little girl was being grabbed and sold into slavery. And so be vigilant and do something. Be active and know that you are responsible for every little girl that they're grabbing out there. You're responsible for every little boy. You're responsible for we are all responsible for the children who are being sequestered in those camps. We're responsible for the fires, for the things that's happening around the world. We are responsible for them. Many will see importance in traveling to different parts of the world to expand their awareness and recognizing the importance of a global collaboration. Do not deplete our resources by ignorance, greed, and sense of entitlement. So sometimes we say, oh, that's not happening to me. It's happening over there or to them. But it does eventually happen to us. Confession and many Pandora boxes being opened up this year about things from the past can bring about change in the perspective of many of our global leaders. Look at what is in front of us. Do not get caught up in fear, dogma, and confusion. We are one. What you pay forward, you will reap. There's no them or us. I said that already. Call on the powerful ancestor of the world, of the universe, for spiritual assistance. And ultimately, peace is what everybody really wants. Some people think that you're going to get peace by war. That is ludicrous. So everybody wants to be peace. However, war is not the way to attain it. This is a time that we can consider small daily activities and choices that we can affect change for the betterment, such as, just recycling or turning off the lights. Don't burn as much light when you're not needed. It's all because every little thing that we do affects everything else. So we have to look at that. Don't put on excessive. Think in terms of a family, that you're reserving this for the future generations, but you're reserving it for yourself as well. And so in that, we're saying that families, this is also another time that families can come together to strengthen the power of love and bring in some type of healing in their family. And the ritual of the year, of course, is the spiritual bath, flower bath, herbal bath. Pray over the water before you drink it in the morning and at night and call your name. I've been doing that, and it really makes a difference. Before I drink water, the first water that I drink for the day, you call your name and says, this is Yeye Fini, or this is whomever. This is the water of God. This connects me and connects my blood, and it connects me to the universe. This connects me to my higher purpose. It connects me to what I'm going to do today. May my every cell in my body resonate with the infusion of this water. May the things that I'm to do, may the words that I speak come from a place of knowing that I am healed and thus the world is healed. And so that's one of the rituals that we can do as well, is doing that. So as I said, I would share with you the prayer that I have. What did I do with the prayer? Okay, here is the prayer. And I'm going to put the prayer up. And this is a prayer that we can do globally. This is not something that we're saying, oh, kumbaya, we're just going to sit around and pray. We can actively make a difference, because the whole Odu is saying that look in front of us, do what it is we've done, do it differently. Do it differently. So now we have to do it differently. Most of the time we're doing it through policies and politics. So when we are having... I'm going ahead of myself. Okay, so the invocation and prayer for success and healing of each other and the world. And this is from the book Fire in the Soul by Joan Borysenko. And it says, may I be peace. This is a prayer that we will say every day. And when I do the reading on the United States, it states that we could do it every season, so that each season will have the infusion of this essence and this power, that we'll be able to make a difference and a change. And so if you see, if you go back into Blog Talk, my readings are usually based on the Odu, but it's not in a thing of believing that fear, hate, desperation is the reality. So here's the prayer. May I be peace. May I know the beauty of my own true nature. May my heart remain open. May I be healed. And call to mind when you're doing this one or several friends or loved ones in as much details as you can. See them in a circle of light and focus on them with great respect and love. May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of our own true nature. May your heart remain open. May you be healed. And so call to mind when you're doing this one or more people that you feel in conflict with, that you're having some kind of opposition. And we could do that if we see conflict in the world. And so you call this conflict with, see them standing in the light. And then you say, may you be peace. May you know the peace of your own true nature. May your heart be open. May you be healed. And then there's the other part of this, after we see our friends and those that we have opposition, see our delicate planet. It's so important for us to see that this with Oshedi. We have to take care of our earth. See our delicate planet suspended like a jewel in the velvet blackness of space. Her white clouds, blue waters, and green continents. Imagine her fiery core, majestic mountains, plants, and animals, a living, breathing being of light. And then we say, may there be peace on earth. May the hearts of all beings be open to one another. May all life reach our fullest potential. May all life reflect the glory of the light. The light is, of course, the light that connects us to the universal source of God, or whatever name you have. Then the energy that supports the planets from crashing into each other and that woke us up this morning. That energy. And once again, feel yourself surrounded, enfolded, and illuminated by the circle of light. If there's anything in your heart that you need to say to God, do so now. And so we say, dear one, Olodumare, Source, Mother, Father, God of all, thank you for the gift of life. Ashe. And so I'm going to put that prayer up. And that's the prayer that when things are happening, we can bring that to our community. If there are children being murdered, if there are children disappearing, if there are snatchings, there are wars, there are fights, there are flooding, this is the time for us to come together and affirm that prayer. A universal source of coming together. So that is the reading on the world. And so the reading of the United States, it has some similar things running through it, because the United States is such a important factor in the policies and the things that happen in the world. So the reading of the United States we have is Irosum Sa, look in front and behind to see where you walk. That's what the United States is saying. And the Ire says, Irosum Ejionle says, he who is born for the head should not be left in the tail. And then we have Irosum She from the Ariku, the dead is going around in circles looking for someone to grab. And then we have the Ire was Mojale, he who swallows the bone pleases the throat. And then we have Oya closing. So it says, pray for the leaders. So just as we said before, the incantation that we're doing, we have the power. That is the thing that this year is, that there are so many manifestation of negative egbe that we can either believe that this is the truth, or we can make the choice to live in a different way. And the way that we're going to choose is, of course, where we can get ourselves centered. That's why it's very important for us to use all of the tools that we have. Those of us who know how to do consultations, do readings, that know how to do Reiki, use stones, anything that you can to bring you into that place. Okay, so it's saying that for us to pray for our leaders, our governors, the senators, and all of the people in government. Do meditations and visualize them changing their way of their thinking to think more in terms of unity rather than discord. So when all of the crazy stuff is going and people we know who is on the phone and is on the hyping us up and making us feel like, oh, this is the end of the world, and we're going to create this war, or we're going to create whatever it is to keep us in a state of control. This is the time for us to come together. That's why it's so important this whole decade. So I say that we must pray for the leaders, visualize them, not just please let them think differently. We are visualizing them, see them in the light, visualize them changing their way of thinking. I remember when I was reminded the other day also that one community, the Saraset community, did some prayers and elevation for, and ourselves did, and we did the same thing in Oyotunji, where we were doing prayers for the boys that were disappearing in Atlanta. And we did some extensive rituals and ceremonies for them, and they caught the person. And I remember also there were so many other things that were going on that I remember, and I stated this in the recording for those of you who saw me in live, when President Obama was running for election and we did the reading of the year, it said, pray for him so that he's not killed in office. And so the Institute did prayers the entire 8 years that he was president, where we had to take a picture of him and put efun and do prayers and libations for him and his family. He wasn't killed. We believe strongly that that visualization, that intention, because we know for what it represented at a time, and I'm not saying that, you know, the politics and the politrics is all that we have, but I do say that we know, and I know in my spirit of heart that I made a difference in that this man, it could have been a whole nother way it could have gone, because this was a big major change that had been happening for us, and this, with having a black president, was one of the changes that may have grabbed some people in a different kind of light. And so rituals and ceremonies do work, and visualization. And so that's what we're going to do. When Congress is coming to pass some type of new law, a new bill, we get in there and start the visualization. It says regular, consistent, and elaborate ceremonies for Egbe again, Orun, just as we said before. So in the United States and for the world, we're going to do rituals and ceremony for Egbe Orun to appease negative, malevolent Egbe spirits, which are, when you don't take care of what you were supposed to do on earth, sometimes those spirits turn negative and they work through their own Egbe on earth, and they become malevolent, and they become negative, and they cause havoc. These spirits could cause havoc. They have survived as lawless men. They survive by breaking the law, creating illusions, causing people confusion, saying anything that they want to say, and in such a way to cause havoc in life for the people. They're elusive, whose powers and personalities fluctuate, but whose malevolency tends to be constant reminder and remind the people of their presence and their influence. We know that it's there. We have witnesses in it here in the United States, and for that reason it says they can plan sinister ideas in the victims' minds or cause them great confusion. The individuals who share this personality and come from this type of Egbe are amongst us. They're serial killers, rapists, kidnappers, armed robbers, thugs, and so on. And like I said, we know who they are, and they're here. And so we must put a place in our homes, in our place, to give Egbe honor. And so we're going to honor it by putting fruits, cooked food, sweets, bananas, sugar cane, intentions, candles, prayers, whatever it is, in your church, in your mosque, in your synagogues, praying for those spirits who have become negative and who are raving havoc in our society. Because without that, we continue to see it, and fear is what we ultimately believe is the reality. So send energy prayers. We can affect change not only by the vote, but by aligning with spirit. We can connect to the vibratory change that is going to sustain us, so we can effectively change the world. Use Ogun's influence in reminding us that we have the power to be the change our spirit wants. Because Ogun is saying here that use it to defend yourself, but not to be enraged. And I wrote something here about Ogun. Pray for those who, it says pray for those who may lose their lives and property through fire or floods this year. Also, pray for the children, men and women who are missing or being exploited. Pray for our planet and visualize peace, because that's the only really thing that everybody wants. Everybody wants to be peaceful. Everybody wants to come from a place where when you wake up in the morning, you know that your house and your planet and your country or whatever is going to be in the same place. And so don't try to go alone and say, oh, I'm out here by myself and we are over here and they're over there. We have to learn all types of teaching tools to bring order and bring order to our lives. Meditation, Qigong, anything that we can use, discipline, because we need to make sure, because meditation is the thing that puts us into a trance. And so that's how we have trance and formation. How we have transformation is by going into meditation every day before you step out your door, before you go to a meeting, before you have an argument, not an argument, but a confrontation or situation or conversation with someone that you know might be taking you out of your comfort zone. Do your meditation so that you can transform the energy that could be a war, could be some kind of a upheaval. So we want to not go in and knowing that we are by ourselves and everybody's against it. No, this is a time you have to be an ambassador for peace. You know, so that we can be an example of life. So in the United States, what is saying that we have to then shift. And the stuff that's going on now is an opportunity. It's like when I get a reading or I give a reading and Obatala speaks. Obatala always says, oh, peace be on earth, and you're going to have, an opportunity to be at peace. There's always a lot of stuff going on that makes sure that you understand that this is the only way you're going to survive. So the stuff that's happening now that can distract us from what's really going on, the only thing that we have is to connect that we are all each other. So when the planet go down, all of us going down. When America, we're not even putting that there. We're not going to put it in that place. So we have to be the ambassadors for peace so we can protect ourselves from injustice. Ogun is saying protect ourselves. Use the spiritual energies that we know how to use. Go into meditation, use rituals, ceremonies to protect yourself. Don't seek revenge from anyone that has harmed you, has called you. It's more not so much about forgiveness, but it's forgiveness, of course. But in the midst of forgiving, you cannot say, I forgive, and then you want revenge. Revenge means that you're going back and you're giving yourself back into the same situation. Just don't ask for revenge. Look into situations as, okay, you know what? Whatever went down, that was a way of me understanding that I had to connect to the fact that however I was hurt, connect to it right now that I'm feeling this, to knowing that helped me to be where I am right now. You're still alive. You're still here. So that didn't take you down. You didn't die. It didn't take you under. So that, if anything, that any kind of situation where you were hurt or you were harmed or people accused you or any of the things that is going on in your life and in your world, use that to say, you know what? I'm here. We rise. And still we rise. So remember that we are divine. We are God's source. We are centering in God. And that's what this reading in the United States and the world is saying, that this is a cycle that is starting. This 2020 decade is bringing us to think differently, act differently in solving globally, nationally, in our community, personally. We have to shift the way that we're not. Because if not, you're going to get caught up in the hype and you're going to be miserable and thinking that by you being miserable, that's the only choice you have. You have the choice to step out of that. You have the choice of being the better and the bigger of every situation that's going on by knowing that I am divine. That's why every time I put something on Facebook, I always put something to the effect that on this day, we are connecting to our divine self. We are the physical expression of Olodumare. We're the physical expression of God. God gave the earth human beings so we can be and do all of that. And God can manifest itself in its magnificence. Remember when we had to go and talk on payphones on the corner in the rain? Today, we got cell phones where we can have entire conversations like this that we're having here. That's the evolution of God's consciousness, putting it into us as an expression of what God knows that we can be more of, that we can have more. So the challenge for us in being more and having better and being an expression of God is, of course, greed. Greed is the thing that's going to take us off of the understanding that everything that we do and everything that we want has to be in alignment with whatever everybody else needs and wants. And so that's what this reading is saying, is that we have to really be prepared and know that Ogun's influence is reminding us that we have the power to do the change. And we have the will as human beings. That's the gift that we have, is the will for choice. And sometimes it's the problem that we got because we make some choices that is like, where a chicken know that all he's supposed to do is crow, get up on the tree, and the female one make eggs. We get intellectual and we decide we want to change it, and we want to mate a chicken with a turkey to see if it's possible. And the will is the thing that gets us in trouble every time. So if we connect to that strong positive energy for success for entrepreneurs can be wonderful this time, because there are new ways, new creative ways. The Oshe that is coming in this Odu is saying, be creative. Be creative. Use the energy of creativity, which is coming. Use it, all of the senses, hearing, knowing, tasting, smelling, feeling, all of those senses to create something as an entrepreneur. Create something that is going to connect us to each other. So be it lectures, be it classes, be it working with children. I need to take a little water because I'm talking fast. Thank you. And so reflections of the past in some judgments and policies can be used as guidance to approach solutions differently. So some of the policies that have been written in the United States many years ago, as well as recently, this is an opportunity for us to change and be the change. For those who are listening to this that are involved in politics, this is your opportunity to go into trance before you take a position. Those of us who are listening that are judges, that are lawyers, that are attorneys, that are doctors, before you go and operate, before you go in and sign, go and connect into your spirit, to your soul, to know that you are the divine expression and that you are here to make a difference. That's what we are on earth to do, is to make a difference. And the difference is that we recognize that the person in front of us is not outside of us. That person is us. Maybe in a different color, in a different race, in a different age group, in a different sex. But they're still the same, because we're all born and one day we're going to die. We all connect to oxygen. We all depend on water. We all depend on love. We all are seeking peace. So we're all the same. So know your rights. Be bold. Do things that will bring about change in all aspects of our lives. So if you're going to vote, go into spirit and know exactly what it is that you're doing. If you're going to speak for someone, if you're going to the defense of someone, if you're going up to your child's school, if you're going to, in the United States, if you're representing something within the policymakers, or if you represent something that is going to shed light on us, go into spirit first and make that transformation. You are in a position to change everything. 2020 is an amazing, amazing vibration and energy for us to really get to understanding the power that we have. It says also, encourage and support young people's opinions and points of view as it relates to the things they feel are important to say. So we have to listen to the young people. We cannot just assume that because we're older that we have, so that young people are going to be doing things to get our attention. And so this is a positive reading to say that this is the time for us to act, to believe them, to hear them, to listen to them, and to advise them and support them. But most of all, listen to them. And so this is a time to support and to listen. We have to change. Look deep inside of this nation and ourselves and take action about it, not just react. So things need to be addressed. Encourage our youth. Act upon, speak towards, demand and expect, be change that we have the opportunity to do. Call on the ancestors to invoke change. Sending positive energy regularly to the United States and its leaders are recommended. Say prayers, visualization before elections. We said that already. Make sure our heads are calm, aligned with the fact that you are divine. So every morning you bless your head and you ask that your head be it's cohesive and it's in connection with your feet. Wherever your feet are taking you, or your wheelchair or your cane or whatever it is that you're using to support you on this planet, may your Ori, your head, be aligned with you. So meditation is to be calm, to align. Take classes that will help you to connect to spirit. These things will help make a difference. It will make America different. Take classes, listen, do things that are, and it's already out there because it's been changing. And now this is an opportunity for us to know that this is what's going to change it. The old regime is not doing it. Be changed, charged up. Do the things that we know that we need to do. Be bold. And so the ritual is to meditate and come together in groups to make affirmative statements, set intentions and meditations seasonally to invoke the power of the spirit of change. And so changing anything. Be consistent, it will make a difference. So I know that I said when I was speaking of it, when I was doing the reading of the year, for those who attended, I think we had like 40 people that attended it. And I made a commitment that the Institute, my International Institute of African Studies and Knowledge at yeyefini.com, every season we're going to have put out for a global meditation. And we're going to say the same meditation, and some of the things that are happening, we'll be able to visualize it as a group. So this can become very massive, and it can become very small, whichever. I'm not interested in it being something that is glorifying my existence. It's about connecting and being, since I am doing the reading and I'm taking responsibility for it, to do something about it. So we're going to do that every season, just like some of you that follow me know that I do a cleansing. Every season I do the cleansing and the fasting and the detox. During that time, we'll set a date, and we'll set ahead how many days we're going to do the prayer and how we're going to invoke that change. So that's going to be, and as I said, the prayer, I'm going to put it up on Facebook, and I'm going to put it on Instagram. I'm going to put it on the different platforms so that you can get it and copy it and send it to your friends. You can pray with your family. Pray, because it's all a prayer for connecting to the universe. May I be peace. May I know the beauty of my own true nature. May my heart remain open. May I be healed. Because peace is the only thing that is true. That's our divine nature. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. That's a no-brainer. And the thing to bring you peace is disconnecting from fear, anger, resentment, all of the things that make us disconnect from peace. And the way to connect to is through meditation, by going into trance, by using the tools that gives you, by balancing you with yoga, with meditation, with rituals, with ceremonies, and by getting yourself readings. Read your relationships, your marriage, your business, getting consultations. Know what does Spirit say about what I want to do. And it's not to tell you what to do, it's to give you choice, to let you know, if you go this route, this will be the pros and the cons. If you go this way, you have pros and the cons. So find somewhere of getting an astrological reading, a spiritual reading. If those of you who are interested in getting a reading from me, you can go on my website and make an appointment. Just go to services, I think it is, and then you can look there and make an appointment. But get into something that's going to give you, get into a yoga class, get into something that you know that it's the latest buzz for the last, 12 years or so. I mean, since 2012. Continue that, and that's what's going to help us. Okay, now we're going to go into 2020 reading of the African and the diaspora. And I always do for the diaspora because I am a descendant of Africa, and so I do it for that. And since we have people in the Caribbean, we have people in Central America, South America, North America, in Africa, in Europe, who are African descendant. This diaspora is for everyone of African descent. And so I do that because of our racial soul, and it's important to me and the world that I live in. And so we have rolling us is Irosumbara, Obara Meiji Ire, Ofunsa Aye, Obara Irosun Kotojale. And Oshedi is the Ebo that came. So it says, the proverb is saying the orange is round, but you have to open it up. And then the next proverb says, cats walk on fences, men do not. The next proverb is, he who dies does not die like he who does not know. The next one is, cleanse your body before you cleanse your neighbors. And the next one is, the prince is crowned while the king dies. And the last proverb is, the bell ring loudest in your own home. So this is a consultation that for the diaspora that is saying, give thanks to the ancestors for all that they have done in bringing us forward. We have to find ways of giving thanks. Kwanzaa this year has been just wonderful. I've been seeing some of the things that people have been doing. That's one way. But also giving thanks. And the ritual will say how it is that the ancestors are asking us to do it. It says this is time for us to look deep inside as to what's working or not as it pertains to the safety, protection, and the well-being of African-descended people. The African descendant who live in America are some of the wealthiest groups of people. Every person has their own social identity, their own racial, sexual, political, and cultural soul, and their own expression and aspects that make us who we are, i.e., African Americans born in the diaspora. We are some of the most educated per region of the world, location, I should say, of the world, is the African descendant. We're most educated, have the most wealth, and because this is the Odu that we have. I'm not saying we're better, we're smarter. That's the Odu that we have. We have been prepared. We fought for many of the things that other nations had to learn from us as it pertained to the freedom and the rights of people of African descent. So the African descendant, the African who was born or is descended from the diaspora has a wealth, financial power and wealth. And so it's saying we have to know our power in order to make sense of how we ended up in America, to make sense of the power that we have, and to make sense of how the world has changed due to the African. So everyone of African descent should go to the museum in D.C. to see that exhibit, to connect you to the glory, to the sacrifice, to who you are, who we are, and be able to share that with the world and share it with your children so that they will know who they are, what they are. And of course, create such monumental institutions all over the world, because if it's there and it's up in your face, the hype that we see on the news about who we are not is not the truth. And so it's important for us to keep that going. We have to know our power in order to make sense of, okay, I said that. Ido Sumbara says, Africans in the diaspora have so much, however, we have to look inside and see what is not working. We have to ask ourselves what is not working internally for us and what is not working for the legacy are we handling down to our future generations. Remember back when our institutions of banking, and we had Black Wall Street, we had businesses, that can be created again, and we have to look at what it is that's not working for us and then think in terms of how we can change it. This is a positive reading. It is one that is just, all of the readings are flowing together, that this is an amazing decade for us. All of it has been laid like a platter of food for us to take. If we continue to think as in the past, as it's them against us, and I'm not going to do that because black people can't come together, we can't unite, we can never trust each other, all of that, that's crap that someone told us. And because when we come together, we make a difference. And when we don't, then other people come into our community, take it over, change it, because we are not aware of the power that we have. So this is an ideal time for us. Like back in the 60s, for those of you who are alive, know that the 60s was like a renaissance in music, in art, in culture, in religion, in philosophy. Everything was just like boom. That's the same kind of energy we have now. That's the same kind of energy. And so we have to cut the orange open. We have to look inside and acknowledge and recognize the power that we have, and not the failure that the world would love for some to believe who are unaware. We have to recognize and make the world acknowledge the contribution of the development of America through the enslavement of the Africans brought from Africa. And so that speaks volumes. Don't get focused on what we're being told that we're not, on what we see, on what we're looking in our communities and what's happening with our youth. This is the time for us to come together and listen to our youth. We are wealthy. We have so much money to establish schools, to establish workshops, to establish things where children can come on just free. Open up your schools, open up your church on Thursday. I know Wednesday is a night that people do Bible study. Thursday, let's do a Thursday, call it Revolutionary Thursday or Thursday Changing or something to that effect, where we can just come together and listen to the youth. Listen to the women, listen to the men, listen to the boys who are in pain, who have been raped, who have been molested. Listen, therapists, give your services. Make it a tithing. Make it a responsibility and a way of putting it. I made the commitment this year of children that I know that come to me through their parents free initiations into the priesthood, if that is what it is that's required. Because as Africans, we have to look at God from the African perspective. And I just happen to be one who use African tools to empower the people, to empower themselves, and to better our lives, and to change our beliefs from fear and dogma and believing that, that the devil is going to get us. I have, and we have, as a people, the opportunity to change the world. My call this year was to bring children together. I will initiate them free, because I'm so tired and hurt that I see so many children that we do readings for, and it says this child has to be initiated by the time they're 7 into the priesthood of whatever faith, and it happened to be mine is Ifa and Lugumi, is that whatever it is, and the parents can't afford it, or they can't do it, or the parents may not realize the importance of it. My call this year is that if you got a child and that reading come, we have enough priests that we can call and say, look, here's a child in the community that needs this initiation. We should not wait for the parents to be able to do that. Of course, the parents has to be in the faith, because they have to support what it is that we're doing. This is not just picking up children now. And that's my call this year, is for any child that needs to be initiated, and that talk to your group, your organization, your godparents, whatever. I'm not in this because I want godchildren. Trust me, that is not my call. I got enough of that. Not enough because batalam or ferefun, whatever you give, is that. But we got to do, if you have a position or something, for those who are doctors, who are psychiatrists, donate your time. If it's one Thursday a month to talk to some child that has been raped, that has been molested, boy or girl, come, create, link up with link up to the divine, and know that you can do it. That what we need to do as African descendant, we have to take care of ourselves. Nobody's going to do it, because they cannot write a policy without being of that group. It's impossible. It's like a chicken trying to tell a duck what it is to be a chicken. Every night a chicken gets up on the limb of the thing. The duck does not do that. So whatever we have to share, because that's the only thing. Everybody's looking for peace. And whatever your job is, if it's a teacher, if it's a doctor, if it's a carpenter, you can come together and take that old rundown building in your community and make it a center where we can empower these children. My Rites of Passage program is available to help these young children with the parents and coming together. We have to do it. That is what it is, a positive reading. It says the ancestors are saying, y'all have earned the right, y'all have fought, y'all have claimed, and we support you. Use us as an example of what can be done. Look where our ancestors used to be to where they are now. Look what we are doing. Look what I'm doing. I come from poverty, breakdown poverty in Panama. And today I can make a difference that someone that's listening to this is going to feel like, whoa, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can listen to a meditation chant or something. Maybe my child, there's hope. We have so many children now that are being diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. And we got to change it. We got to be the change we want to be. We cannot expect anybody else to change us, because it's our call. It is our call. It's our call. And so we have the power and the money. So what are we going to do with it? The African diaspora, we are some wealthy people. When we look and go outside of America and we see what people are living on and support themselves and thrive and have children and more children and have children who go on to be medical doctors, and they're living on barely the stuff that we throw away. We got to call it back. We got to call it back. So be bold, step out, count on your sacrifices of the African ancestors. Everything that they did, we can do it even more. We should make a conscious effort to once again establish successful, respected learning institutions, banks, thriving businesses, as well as we did before in America, by coming together with a with a far-reaching success financial plan. And the first thing we have to say is that we are not going to be grudge. Remember, we said don't hold grudges, and don't try to feel like whatever is happening, it's going to the way that we did it before. We got to begin at some point. You got burnt before. You got to step out. We got to start. Nothing is going to change until you change it yourself. And life is a risk. Every day we walk out the door, we can get hit by a car. So if you're going to get together, don't say, oh, well, the last time we came together is this, we did that. No, let's just move. Use the power of the ancestral culture of knowledge to create like a one-a-day financial pool to establish financial foundations for community development. I'm not going to do it, but there's someone that's listening to this. If you feel that we could do that, $1. If each person in the diaspora put $1, we could create such magnificence for our children, for ourselves, for our children that are crying, that are... Sometimes I look at social media, and some of the girls and the men, the things that they're doing is just they're crying. They're in so much pain, and they don't know that it's in pain. They don't know. They think that this is the new fashionable thing. There's this one person on Instagram that whenever I go on there, I feel so sorry for her. She always has her breasts hanging out and her things. And I'm not saying that breast is not pretty and it's not part of a human anatomy. But if that's all you are, that is pain that you're calling out for. These are the things. We got everything in front of us. We got the signs. We can't wait for any more signs. Because this decade, it's a mass. It's like, as an artist, because I paint, when you have a canvas and you have a pencil and you have your paints or whatever you're going to use for the color, everything is potential. Everything is potential. Everything is coming from God, because you have the ability to come from nothing and you create something that everything is like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. That's what it is. We have to step back in and take responsibility. So it's saying, Ofum Sa is saying here, use the power of ancestral culture. Okay, so use the culture to create a $1 a day financial pool. I'm in. You tell me, I'm in. I'm going to do a reading, and it says this is the group, I'm in. If it's 5 groups, that's $5 a day that I can give to 5 different things, because I know at the end of it, we're going to get this empty building. We're going to turn it into something. I'm in. I'm not the one to start the fund, but I will support it. African spiritual practices will save our people. Again, the ceremonies that we've been doing, and we see more and more people are doing ceremonies, and for our ancestors at the sea and the river and the mountains and each other and healing. Beautiful. Continue to do it. That's what's going to help us, because our God looks like us. Our God is African, so it has to look like us. And so Ofum Sai says positive energy is coming from the world, directly from the ancestors. Many will have dreams that will manifest in the community. So if you have a dream for your community leader or something, pay attention to it, to the dreams that you have that has to do with your community, your leaders, yourself. Invoke past ancestors invoke past ancestors too. Honor the work that has been done to bring about change. Take care of yourself. Clean up your own table. It says before you clean someone else's house. Dress yourself first, then others. Your change, your charge. Great time to create schools for the growing community of African traditional spiritual practice here in the diaspora. That's the bone I got to pick here. Is that we got all of these egg beds and these societies that belong, and they're this and this, where this is our big group, and we have that. Where are the schools? Where are the schools? We got these parochial schools. We got the Muslim schools. We have all. Where are the traditionalist schools here? If somebody has it, let me know. I will contribute. It is time for some of us that's dealing with the African spiritual practices, the different egg beds and that ilays, to establish schools. Establish schools with the foundation of community African values. It doesn't have to be traditional Ifa. It could be all of the other. We have Voodoo, we have Condomblé, we have all of that living here in the diaspora. It's time with the community to have schools in traditional spiritual practice here in the diaspora. It is not my call, but I will support it. We all have our call, because somebody out there has a call that has children that need to know the difference, that open up the day, that start the day out by pouring a libation and praying for all of the teachers and visualizing the safety and visualizing a perimeter of safety where there's no gun, no violence, nothing that's going to come and upset them. That they pour a libation in the morning, and you have the children on the microphone in the morning over the PA system. And at the end of the day, we bless the children. We bless the principal. We bless the teachers. Each child gets a blessing. It's time for us to do this. It is time. We cannot keep saying, oh, we're going to wait for this, and how many years you got in OCHA, and how many godchildren you have, how many. No. We need to hold ourselves accountable. I may piss some people off, but you know what? It is what it is. It's not my call. My children already been educated, and they're done. They're due, and my children's children are being educated in a way that is outside of just the normal. Everything is that. Now, my thing is, some of the things that my grandchildren are learning is outside of African practices. It's outside of African practices. So my call is, if you're doing it, I will support it. It's not my call to create a school, but it is my call to support it. And so for those of you who are in school and college and getting ready to and want to do something in the community, do that. And if you know what Orisha is, and that, bring your schools into, that's how... But we're not going to the negative side of saying what other people are doing. We are connected to everyone. Learn. Let's look at what parochial schools did to us and for us. And then we can make a difference. It is time for us to hold ourselves accountable. So like I said, some people might get annoyed, but you know what? We got to speak the truth. And that's how it's coming through this old dude. That's it. We got to look and we got to make it. You got to dress yourself before you dress somebody else. So we got to take care of our own children before we ask somebody else to take care of them. And make sure that we're looking at some of the things that we're expecting our children to do here in the diaspora, where you go to college, you go to school, go to college, and they're not getting any jobs. And the focus can be sometimes at going to a trade school, learning something, as we used to do when we were growing up in Panama. I know we always everybody had a little trade. You either went to learn sewing, or the young boys were carpenters or tailoring or something. It's that time. We can do it again. We can do it again. We don't have to go to Walmart for an easy, cheap pair of pants and giving whoever, some Southeast place, community, the money for stitching them up cheap. It's time for us. This is carte blanche for us to move. It is carte blanche for us to move and bring ourselves in the diaspora, and those especially the practitioners. It's time to have our schools. Okay, ritual, feed the ocean. This is the ritual for the African in the diaspora. This is the last reading that we're doing, because we did the one in the world, we did the one in the United States. Now we're doing the ritual for the African in the diaspora. It's to feed the ocean. We need to go to the ocean, pray. That is where our wealth is. All right, that's what it says. So Olokun is going to bring us wealth. And where we will get our wealth and power. Pour libation at the ocean and pray and honor our ancestors whose bones still lay at the bottom of the sea. Pray for our families, ourselves, our children, our planet, and our community. So when you go to the ocean, when you go to the sea, make sure that it's not just a play. And, many people, are not aware. So I guess that's why we're having this reading, so that the world would know. When you go to the ocean, you honor the ocean. And you pour libation. Dear God, we give thanks for this ocean, because just as it flows, it cools the earth. And just as it flows, the fish, just as it flows, we have the herbs that we use for medicine. You are a fabulous garden of unexplored abilities, giving thanks to our ancestors whose bones are still in the water, and we stand here as witness and testament of their existence. We give thanks and honor. All of that is what we're saying when we go to the ocean. This is one of the biggest eballs for us to do, is to pour libation and feed the ocean. So those who are in the diaspora and our practitioners, this is the time for us to have big offerings to Olokun, to the ocean. Big offerings to Olokun on rafts, on things. When I lived in Jamaica, we used to do that all the time. In Florida, we can't do the large rafts because of the politics. So we give small offerings. But this is, if you're living in a diaspora and you have the ability to do it without the police coming, this is the time to do like they do in Brazil. So you just have food. You can cook some food that you know your ancestors like, or you just some food that it makes, when you're cooking it, you're connecting to your ancestors. And when we say ancestors, not just your personality, but the composition of all of our ancestors, you know. And we calling on our authors and our musicians and our politicians, and we're calling on our mothers and our aunties. We're calling on our philosophers, all of from the diaspora, from Africa, whose work we stand on. And so it says also the next ritual is to honor our ancestors, pray for our families. So we will be praying for ourselves, praying for our ancestors, and praying for the things that you want. And it does work, because I know for myself, whenever I'm having any conflict or anything that I feel sad, I go to the ocean and just pray and ask for Olokun, and it just, you know, it makes a difference. Wash my face, my arms, and just pray for my family, myself, and for energy to just shift. Sometimes, most of the time, is my own consciousness. And ask for the safety of our children, safety in schools, in the streets, and at home. We have to make sure that we're praying for our children, especially in these schools. Especially in these schools, surround them, see them with light, especially in the street when our children are coming to and from school. They're snatching children. They're holding our girls. There's so many black women missing. We have to come together and pray for that. Send the energy. See them being free. See them reconnecting to their families. Very, very, very important for us to do that. Unification through meditation is our duty, and to connect to the spirit so that we can transform. When we meditate, we go into a higher level of sense of awareness. And so when we make decisions while under a deep alpha wave, we are in a place of peace. When you're in an alpha wave, you are not fighting. So that's when you go into meditation, you go into trance. And so we need to make a commitment and a pledge to God to meditate every day as a way of reminding our commitment. So let's make a pledge. We pledge that as of this year, today, we are going to connect at all times to spirit. We are going to commit to doing meditations every morning, to go into the alpha state and to come out knowing and feeling connected, and that you can be the one thing, the one voice that someone hears to make a difference in their life. We can meditate every day as a way of reminding of the commitment of being, of sharing, and contributing to the peace whenever we feel angry or upset. Make that commitment that through meditation, whenever I get angry and pissed off or annoyed or look at the television and feel like the craziness that's going on is real, I get centered and recognize that, you know what? There is something I can do to make a difference. And like I said, there are rituals that can be done. There are ceremonies that can be done for us to unite our community, ourselves, our families. And center yourself and realize what is it. Your ancestor, God's spirit, always gives us what it is that we want when we speak in an affirmative voice. Today, I am connected to the solution to this challenge that I recognize as not being peace. Today, I make the commitment that everything that annoys me, everything that comes into my space is an opportunity for me to know that I'm connected to God. If that's the only prayer you do, you're going to be kicking. You're going to be kicking it. When your business is not doing well, I connect to the fact that I give thanks for this job that irritates me. I give thanks because from this irritation, I am going to be creative to take the next step in my own evolution financially. That's the way that we have to work this decade, is always using whatever the craziness is going on. We have to be the ambassador for peace. And just be an example in life. So that's calling me and everybody else up, that this is the time for us to really acknowledge and to say, you know what? I'm going to be that voice. I'm going to be the one. And surround yourself with people who are going to support it, because you're not going to be by yourself. So find people who are in the same frequency, that are doing the positive things, that are doing it. And when someone comes around and they're negative and that, understand that they're at that place and just send the frequency. Change the energy, change the frequency. Give me a minute. Let's meditate. Let's sit down. How about us praying before we do anything? How about us praying before and during discussions in that. So forgiveness is big this year. Do not seek revenge, and call to mind one or several friends or loved ones in much details as you can. See them in the circle of light and focus on them with great respect and love. That's what we're going to do. Call to mind several friends or loved ones in as much details as you can. And always the word of the year is may you be at peace. May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May your heart remain open. May you be healed. Because the craziness that's going on, that's sickness. That is believing that that's real. And the only thing that's real is that everybody's looking for peace. And if you have the tools, if you know how to meditate, if you know how to do ceremonies, if you know how to do rituals, if you know take baths, if you know how to be with people who are encouraging that, then people that are not doing it in your life, they're going to disappear. They're just going to be like, stop being around you, don't call you anymore, you don't know why they disappeared from you. It's okay. It's okay, because once you make that you want to be in peace, all of the distractions from your peace is going to melt away. You don't have to do any, yanged up stuff or work stuff on folk and all of, no. It's just about you knowing that whatever is going on, I got the solution right here by just saying, this ain't my take. I'm going to stay in my lane because this crazy stuff here is not mine. And as long as we do, and so we have to resonate and do this prayer, the invocation and prayer for success and healing of each other and the world. And like I said, it came from Fire in the Soul, page 186, I think it is. My goddaughter sent me this, 186 from Joan Borisenko. Get that prayer, put it on your wall, put it in your bathroom, put it on your phone, put it everywhere so you can make that invocation before you go into that meeting where you got people that want to stab you in the back and all that. You go in there, well, I'm going to go in here. No. Oh, I'm going in there scared. No, you make your affirmation. See the group. See the whole building. See the whole block. See the whole neighborhood. See the whole church. Everybody in that light. So when you step in, they're like, oh, we're so happy that you're here. Or the things that we were going to talk about, we're not talking about it today because we've decided that was irrelevant. That's how we're going to make a difference. Is working your juju, your magic. Your magic manifests, as Fulayo said. Your magic is coming in every situation knowing that you got the power and you're the biggest light in everything. So that's basically the reading on the year. For those of you who are interested, again, you can go to my website, yayafini.com. And follow me on Instagram and Facebook and all of those good things. And we have a lot of things coming up this year to help us in the diaspora as well as globally. We have our SER, Self-Empowerment Intensive, which is amazing, which helps to heal us from 7 generations of trauma that we've had down. And sometimes we think that what's going on in our life is ours, and it's stuff that we had from our family, and and sometimes it's not our family, but experiences that we've had cross-generationally. And so SEI is about that, and it's not initiation into ritual, it's initiation into opening you up to knowing that whatever it is, and the whole 5-day process is complete possession. So you're into spirit. Then we have our Children's Rites of Passage, which is to allow children to move from the age of I think it's 12 to 17, and they're able to know and to be given the right of passage. Let them know that now you're moving from this phase of your life. These are the tools for you to manifest your power so that you'll be a global citizen, so that you can help yourself, so that you can know how to handle bullying. All of those things our children learn in our Children's Rites of Passage. And then, of course, we have our mediumship training for those of us who see spirits, who I hear dead people, and want to be in a place to learn how to discipline, how to organize, how to call on, how to develop a discipline to know what spirit is speaking. That class is also available. All of the classes come up in March. And we have, of course, divination class for priests who are divine, priests who are initiated and are interested in learning Merinda Lagoon. That's what I teach. And we have that for That's also available. Our SEI, our priesthood, and all kinds of good stuff. So, anyway, some of my products are no longer going to be carried. So there are going to be a couple of things changed on my website. But just know that my call is to empower the people to empower themselves and use this empowerment to change the world. I love human beings. I love people because I have a spirit inside of me that is youthful, that is young, that wants to learn, that is curious, and I always want to know stuff. And so when I learn stuff, I want to change, I want to share it with everyone to just change the world, because I know that what I've been through, and if I can stand here, there's some other people out there that's been through stuff like me or worse. And if I could just give you a little grain of salt to put into your little soup of life so you can come out feeling better, I'm committed to it. So this is going to be a beautiful decade. 2020 is an amazing decade. We have array, we have a positive, so that means that we have the potential for it. In my readings, I don't like to focus on the negative, because we said if you know what you're supposed to do, then the other stuff is going to show up and you already know what you're supposed to do. So we can spend here and says, oh, they're going to be people who cheating and lying, and going to be politicians going to be discovered. And that's a waste of energy. Let's focus on what we can do to change the situation, because stuff like this has always happened. People have always been greedy. People have always been self-centered. You're always going to have narcissists. It's just that it's more popular now because we can see it on television and news. People have always been like that because that's when they're connected to, not connected to spirit. But it's the first time, I think, that we see so much concentrated hate and concentrated rage, because you had little pockets that would fight amongst each other for whatever. But just to see entire people that you're holding children sequestered, you're building a wall to keep people apart just because the last wall didn't work. The last two walls didn't work. So we can't keep doing things the way we used to, because it's not going to have the same effect anymore. This is time for change. The earth is letting us know. Pray for those, and be very careful this year with fires and with flooding. So get your fire insurance, get your flood insurance if you live in areas that tend to having floods. There's a lot of potential for and stay vigilant. Stay vigilant in our communities. If you see something, say something, and create a community where you feel safe enough to call someone and say, hey, this has happened. If you see someone under attack in that, get involved. Because if you center yourself for the day and say, I am a divine source of expression, I am God's source. If somebody's hurting someone, sometimes we tend to tell, I'm not going to get involved because they could shoot me, they could kill me. If you're centered in spirit and that, send that energy so that the thing can shift. So that person can take a different outlook about grabbing that person or whatever it is. But stay woke, like the young people are saying. So thank you so much, Modupwe, for supporting my work and supporting my ministry. And like I said, this is just my take on 2020, coming from the readings that I do and I've been doing for over 34 years. This is my take. And for all of the other readings that are being done, I saluted, I listened, I looked at them, and I will look at them because I haven't looked at anything yet, and see how they collaborate, because they always collaborate. Because it's, Obatala is Obatala, Oshun is Oshun, Yemanja is Yemanja. It depends on what you're calling them. They're all the same. So God always speaks in the same language. The interpretations is where you may have a little difference. But I just want to thank you again from the top and the bottom of my Okan, from my heart, for being supportive of the work that I do and making me know that the work that I do does make a difference. And that's all I want to do, is just that it makes a difference. It just makes a difference. So, build our schools. Call me up on that. Free initiation for children. Call me up on that. $1 a day. Call me up on it. Okay? And help me when I forget or I'm distracted from the divinity that I am. Because I need y'all to pray for me too. I'm walking alongside everybody else. I'm not here to give you no coming straight from. I'm just a vehicle, and ask God to just use me to be a vehicle to change the world, to empower the people to empower themselves. Thank you. Have a blessed evening. And where in the world is Yellow de Yefini Shunio? She is doing the reading of the year with all my friends. We got Angelina, we got Kefra, we got Ife Michelle, Paola, Ekale, Zuri, Alanla, April. We have Zawadi, Ajisho De, April Cohen. We have Zuri. We have Adisa, Ajani, Akinyere. Hey, I love ya. We have Kim Dudley, Maria Tucker, Patrice Brown, Abike Okesina. Oh, we got all kinds of folk. We got all kinds of wonderful people. Maria Tucker, Adisa, Sweet Thunder, Joanne Mitchell, Ife Michelle, Sister Vicky Thomas. Hey, Vicky. India Jane, Rita Walker. Hey, Sister. There's so many people. When I'm talking, I can't look at these little things. So right now I'm just reading them because that aspect of me of doing this and then watching, I can't do that. Clara L. We have Rosemary. We have Leslie Sharp. We have Kefra Harris, Rhonda Walker, Maria, Calvin, Howard, Claudia Love. We have Jennifer Owens, Mambo Yansao, Claudia Love, Mambo Yansa, Oya's daughter. Hey, Claudia. We have Sonia Esperance Oshumbumi, Jessica Clark. Hey, Jessica. We have Latanya, Cigar Duncan, Caroline, Efunlayo, Efunlayo Maxie, holla. Jerry Mooney, Lisa, Danielle, Tham. We have Maria Tucker, Monica Pena, Ekale, Maisha, Lisa. Ooh, we got Oshunrire. We got all kinds of people. Lisa Stanford said, Anna. So thank you. Y'all have a blessed evening. And where in the world is Yayapini? Minding my business and yours. Let's get busy. Oh, double. And share this with everybody. Share it. Oh, double.